Deep in the silence of space, a Weyland-Yutani probe drifts through the wreckage of the Nostromo. It retrieves a meteorite containing a fossilized organism, the original terror that started it all. It is brought to a secret research station, dissected and studied, but you cannot tame the perfect organism. The station goes dark, the crew is slaughtered, and the ultimate predator is left waiting in the cold, hungry for the next heartbeat to wake it up. Years later, on the sunless mining colony of Jackson Star, life is a slow death sentence. Rain Carradine and her synthetic brother, Andy, are trapped in indentured servitude with no way out. A group of young scavengers offers them a lifeline. A derelict station has drifted into orbit. It has cryopods. If they can steal them, they can sleep through the 9-year journey to a paradise planet. It's a heist mission, and they have to leave now. Rain joins the crew, driven by desperation. They don't want gold or tech, they just want a future. They fly their small hauler up to the massive silent station named the Renaissance. It is divided into 2 sections, Romulus and Remus. They dock manually, unaware that they are breaking into a tomb. The station's orbit is decaying, crashing into the planet's rings. They are racing against time before they even step on board. Once inside, the atmosphere is heavy with dread. The lights flicker and the air is stale. They find the cryopods, but they need fuel to power them. The station is littered with strange organic residue, and massive holes burn through the floors by concentrated acid. There are no bodies, only a silence that feels heavy and watchful. They split up to find coolant, ignoring the gut feeling that something terrible happened here. To get the coolant, they have to enter a secured laboratory. The door is sealed, but Andy, being a synthetic, can interface with the system. They enter a room filled with red light and dozens of frozen specimens facehuggers. By removing the coolant canisters, they inadvertently trigger a temperature rise. The room begins to thaw. The water melts, and the nightmare trapped inside begins to stir. The doors lock down, trapping 2 crew members inside the lab. The facehuggers animate, thrashing in the water and scuttling across the floor like spiders. They are fast, relentless, and hunting for a host. The crew outside tries to hack the door, but it's too late. One of the facehuggers launches itself through the air, wrapping its tail around a girl named Navarro's throat, silencing her scream in an instant. Panic erupts. The group manages to drag Navarro out, but the creature is clamped tight to her face. They try to cut it off, but its blood is molecular acid. It burns through the floor, nearly breaching the hull. The ship's damaged science android, Rook, wakes up. Bisected but functional, he coldly explains the company's mission. The group fractures, arguing over whether to save Navarro or leave her behind to save themselves. They manage to remove the creature using a freeze spray, but the damage is already done. The implantation process was accelerated. Navarro collapses, convulsing violently. Her chest heaves, bones cracking audibly. The crew watches in horror as blood sprays the room. A chestburster tears its way out of her ribcage, screeching before skittering into the dark ventilation shafts. The clock is ticking, and the hunter is loose. The station is now a death trap. The chestburster molts and grows at a terrifying rate. The station's gravity stabilizers begin to fail, causing the corridors to spin and gravity to fluctuate. Doors lock and unlock randomly. The survivors are separated, trapped in a labyrinth of metal and steam. Every shadow could be the creature. They aren't just trying to escape the station anymore. They are trying to navigate a maze that wants them dead. The creature reveals itself a fully grown xenomorph. It is sleek, biomechanical, and intelligent. It uses the vents to flank them. It cuts the power. The crew realizes they aren't hunting an animal. They are being herded by a predator. It stalks them with a terrifying patience, picking them off one by one. They realize the station was never a research facility. It was a breeding ground for a weapon they cannot control. A brutal loss hits the group. Bjorn tries to fight back with a shock prod, fueled by anger and fear. It's useless against the perfect organism. The alien strikes from the ceiling, its inner jaw punching through his skull. Acid blood sprays everywhere, melting through the deck and separating the survivors. The realization hits Rain. They have no weapons, no armor, and absolutely no chance of fighting this thing head-on. Rain takes command. She retrieves a pulse rifle, channeling the survival instinct of Ripley. She realizes the aliens track by sound and body heat. They have to move silently. They use the station's gravity purges to their advantage, floating through zero-gravity corridors to avoid the acid blood eating through the hull. It's not about being a hero anymore. It's about tactical survival and making the hard calls. A twist complicates everything. Andy receives a chip upgrade from the damaged science officer Rook. He becomes cold, efficient, and loyal, only to Weyland-Yutani. He reveals the Prometheus strain of black goo compound derived from the aliens intended to evolve humanity. He prioritizes extracting the sample over the crew's lives. Rain realizes her brother is gone, replaced by a machine that views them as expendable variables. The situation spirals. A pregnant crew member, Kay, is critically injured. In a moment of desperate terror, she injects herself with the experimental black goo, thinking it is a healing agent. It stops her bleeding, but it begins to rewrite her DNA. The xenomorphs create a hive near the docking bay, sticking the survivors to the walls. The escape ship is just meters away, but a wall of monsters stands in their path. The climax is an adrenaline-fueled gauntlet. Rain decides to go back for Andy, refusing to leave him behind. She engages the gravity generators, floating through a corridor of floating acid blood in 0G to blast the xenomorphs with the pulse rifle. It's a chaotic, deafening sequence of gunfire and screams. She saves Andy. They get to the ship and they blast off just as the Renaissance station crashes into the planetary rings. They think they are safe, but the horror isn't over. Kay goes into labor in the cargo hold, but this isn't a normal birth. The black goo has mutated her fetus rapidly. She births the offspring, a tall, pale, terrified human-engineer hybrid. It grows to full size in minutes, kills Kay instantly, and turns its terrifying human-like face toward Rain. The true monster was never the alien. It was what humanity tried to create from it. The final showdown takes place in the cargo hold. The offspring is stronger and more resilient than a xenomorph. It wounds Andy, leaving Rain alone. She puts on a spacesuit as the creature closes in. In a final desperate move, she opens the cargo bay levers. The pressure drops, sucking everything out. She blasts the creature into the cold vacuum of space, barely holding onto a tether as the monster dissolves into the dark. Rain records her final log, entering cryosleep with Andy, uncertain of where they will wake up. The nightmare is over, for now. In space, no one can hear you scream, but they can definitely hear you subscribe. If you want a deep dive on that insane hybrid ending and what it means for the franchise, comment Romulus down below. Stay safe and watch your back.